Why do narcissists always seem to cause an argument right before you're about to go out anywhere? This video is going to be about narcissists, and even though they often claim they don't want to argue with you, narcissists causing arguments with you. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. There's many reasons why people argue within the world around us and debate, discuss, fall out, disagree, have different opinions. The narcissist personality disorder is a disorder, and in order for someone to be on the disorder, they would need at least 5 of the 9 characteristics. 1, having that grandiose sense of self-importance. 2, preoccupied with their fantasies of ultimate success. 3, superiority, believing they are special. 4, entitled, feeling entitled to just have what they want. 5, a requirement for excessive attention, excessive admiration. 6, exploits others to meet a need of their own. 7, lacks empathy to care for those that they hurt. It's all about meeting that need of their own. 8, envious of others, believing others are envious of them. And 9, arrogant, unpleasantly proud of who they are as a person. So you can be dealing with someone who's just toxic, or you could be dealing with a narcissist. Narcissist or not, abuse is abuse. There is no excuse. We can all have some narcissism within us. People can be successful if they don't exploit others, if they have genuine empathy for those around them. Work hard to achieve and don't feel entitled just because they're successful doesn't make them a narcissist. You can have someone who's filled with self-confidence, self-worth, self-respect, self-love, and that inner confidence shines through. Yet, if they're not going around exploiting others, if they're not going around pulling other people down to feel better about themselves, if they're going around trying to pull people up, just because somebody is confident doesn't make them an arrogant narcissist. You can have someone who's suffered from trauma, who's going through life, who's in the victim mindset. If they're not going around exploiting others, if they're not going around trying to take others down with them, they most likely are just going through some difficult times and they are not a narcissist. 2 great people can come together and just not gel together. They can just bring out each other's ugly side. Nothing wrong with either of them. Sometimes working on communication can help, so long as both are willing to communicate. When it comes to a narcissist is only willing to communicate if it works in their favour. They are unwilling to recognise another person's point of view. They don't see themselves as being in the wrong. With 2 people who are just sparking off each other, they would have that object consistency to care about each other and to try to find a way through, and if they can't find a way through, to try and end the relationship as amicably as they possibly can. Narcissists manipulate through gaslighting, isolation, divide and conquer, triangulation. There's so many different ways a narcissist manipulates people. They are a player and they play so many games that most people are unaware of until they've been sunken by the narcissist games. One way they triangulate you and isolate you is by causing those arguments before you go out. A narcissist might convince you to stop working, claiming that they'll take care of your needs, so you simply can't afford to go out anymore. Or they might hand over the financial responsibility to you but you're walking on eggshells, so you've got to make sure they've got the money they require, otherwise there'll be mass arguments, leaving you with little money to be able to afford to go out. Before you go out anywhere, you might have warned them, and they might come at you and say that you never told them. They might say that they've got a nice meal planned out for the evening to make you feel guilty, to make you feel obligated to stay in because you care about their feelings, not understanding that they don't care about yours, they're just manipulating you. They might claim that you're dressed inappropriately, start accusing you of cheating and lying. If you want to go to the gym, they might start asking, why are you exercising when you don't need to exercise anymore? You look fine as you are. What are you wearing that for? What's your ulterior motive? And they will chip and chip and chip away at you so that you feel ashamed, so that you no longer want to go because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You're also feeling confused as to why this person once admired the fact that you enjoyed going for a run or going to the gym or going out with your friends, and is now trying to sabotage you from doing these things. Yet they do it in such a way that it can come across that they care about you, or they do it in a way that makes you feel guilty for being yourself. Some people who have anxiety or CPTSD might also do this. However, you would be able to communicate with that person. You'd be able to reassure that person. There is no reassuring a narcissist until they've got what they wanted, which is to isolate you from support so they can further their control over you. Narcissistic people will lie, they will deny, they will deflect, they will bring up the past, they will accuse you of being in the wrong, and they will take no responsibility for their own behaviour. They put that sense of dread into you, they put that sense of fear into you before you go out or when you come home, so you fear making arrangements to go out in the future. Even if it's just nipping out, nipping to the shop, nipping to meet a friend for a coffee, going out for the evening, going for the gym, going for a run, going to yoga, going to a book group. They might make it so you fear going home, or putting you into that survival fawn mode, which is when we begin to unwittingly comply with our abuser for fear of reactions from them. We unwittingly comply, we begin to walk on eggshells and fawn to how they want us to behave, to try and protect ourselves, not understanding what's truly happening. Narcissists can stop you from going out by bringing up the past, and it's not bringing up the past that's the problem, it's how they bring up the past. They feel threatened that you're going out. They might fear exposure if you discuss what's happening with friends. They might fear abandonment, whatever reason it is behind that narcissist. They feel threatened, or they feel envious of you. So they are going to go all out to bring you down, to stop you from being who you truly are. They want to isolate you from support. And narcissists have that selective memory when it comes to bringing up the past. They can remember anything that will help with their emotional abuse, help with their guilt trip, help with their pity plays, help humiliate you, criticise you, judge you, blame you or shame you to control you. However, they will forget anything that could potentially work against them, gaslighting you into downplaying their toxic behaviour while they project their toxic behaviour into you, exaggerating anything you did. So you question yourself, you doubt yourself, you feel ashamed, and you feel like you're to blame through the narcissist gaslighting and projection for the very things they are actually doing to you. If this is a narcissistic parent, this is purely because they do not want to see your growing independence. They steal your childhood as they want you running around after them, and they also sabotage your adulthood. Some parents who haven't got traits of NPD, who are just wiser, want to try and stop you from making mistakes that they made. Narcissistic parents want to stop you from living your life how you want to live it, and they want you to live your life how they want to live it. It's not to protect you, it's to sabotage you. With a partner, in the beginning, they can admire your hobbies, they can admire your dreams, they can admire your friends, they can charm your friends. They can offer to give you lifts, to pick you up, to be incredibly supportive of you. And this is all manipulation. This is all their admiration face coming out to seek that excessive attention and praise and gratitude from you. And as you've lived that reality with them, when things go south, you don't recognise that it's them. You question who you are because you lived the reality when they treated you well. And because they're blaming you for treating you wrong, you're questioning your reactions to their actions and not their actions. When a narcissist changes the game, it causes that cognitive dissonance within our minds because we begin to live two very different realities. We begin to live two very different beliefs, and we are gaslighted into not seeing what is truly happening. As a narcissist claims they don't want to argue, we are often led to believing we are the ones creating the arguments. We then unwittingly fawn and often end up staying in to avoid arguments. Narcissists have that double standards of entitlement. They are allowed to do what they want while you have to do what they want. You are no longer allowed to do what you'd like to do. What makes you who you are as a person? Why many people lose themselves to a narcissist because they are stripped of everything they care for. They can triangulate you. They can claim that they don't like that friend of yours, that they don't trust somebody. They can do it in a way that they're blaming the third person for not wanting you to go and not blaming you. Again, because you care about their feelings, you don't want to hurt their feelings, so you fawn more to their words rather than seeing the bigger picture. Triangulation is to divide and conquer. So you not only lose your trust within your own opinions, you lose your trust within who your friends and family are. And as the narcissist was so kind and generous in the beginning, because you've developed that emotional bond, that connection with them, believing that they want what's best for you, not realising they're manipulating you, you go to the very person who's seeking you for advice as they take further control of your hobbies, of your friends, of your family, and of your mind. Before we go out, they will bring things up that happened months or years ago, which we can often stand there thinking, wait, what? Because if we were to do that to them, if we were to bring something up, they come at us with, that never happened. You're losing your mind. What are you talking about? You know what my memory's like. They like to confuse you into conforming to their demands. They play with your mind. They will accuse you of lying. They will accuse you of making things up so they can get their own needs met. You can arrange a family do. You can arrange to go out with friends or family. You can arrange a special day. Narcissists really dislike special occasions. Most narcissists really dislike special occasions as they're not the centre of attention. So they will go all out to sabotage it for you. You can tell them in advance, yet one minute they're bringing up the past, the next they'll be telling you that you never told them about it, even though you know full well you told them about it. Or they can really, if you've got children, they can really adore your children when you first meet and admire the fact that you like spending time with your children and doing things for your children. Then when it comes to a special occasion, such as a child's birthday or Christmas, and they used to really like how you celebrated these things. They're going to chip away at you with that child should be with their other parent on that day, that child should, and they're going to chip at you. So you end up trying to avoid the conversation so that you try and avoid the argument. So you feel like you're turning toxic, trying to avoid communicating with them, because you know full well if you do communicate with them, it's going to turn into a mass argument. It's that double bind, that catch-22, where no matter what you do, unless you conform to their demands, you're not going to win. And even when you conform to their demands, it's still a lose-lose situation with a narcissist, as they just continue to try and take more from you. You can get panicky if you do go out and you are running late. You can start to feel panic, dread and fear of how they're going to react when you walk through the door. You can message them to let them know that you're going to be late. However, when you walk through that door, they're either going to fly into a rage or fall silent on you. So you do all you can to try and make it up to them, to try and make them feel better. You can beg and plead with them, but it will all be in vain, as they will push you into that emotional state of despair. They bring up the past, they guilt trip on how they've had to fend for themselves, they've had to potentially use your money to order a takeout because you were late. They do all they can to guilt trip you. However, if they're allowed to go out whenever they want, they're allowed to be late, they're allowed to ignore their phone, they're allowed to not message you to let you know. They expect you to let them know, and then they criticise you for letting them know. They judge you for being late, they question you for being late. Yet when they don't let you know. And if you ask them, if you try to message them, if you try to get in touch with them, they will twist it onto you for being jealous or insecure. They will turn it onto you being obsessed with them, you not allowing them to live their own life. They turn it any way they can. So even if you try to explain, I messaged you to let you know, and then if you bring up the past, you can feel like you're turning into them because you're bringing up the past, because you say, well, you were late last week and I messaged you because you didn't let me know and you ignored me. They'll come up with some rational excuse, such as their battery died and they didn't have a charger, which we can kind of recognise in some way. And because we don't want to be at loggerheads with people, we can drop the argument, not realising what they are doing. We kind of come from a place of communication and debating and discussing different opinions to agree to disagree. A narcissist comes from a place of ripping your wounds wide open and never closing them. And the more you go to them for closure, the more they're going to rip them open. The more they claim they don't want to argue, and the more it turns into an almighty argument, the more you question who you are as a person, the more your beliefs are all crossed over, as they can bring something up, but you can't bring something up. They don't want to argue, yet they're accusing you of the one causing the argument. They're blaming you, they're shaming you, they're guilt tripping you, they're ignoring you, you're feeling bad, you're doing all you can to help them, and they're accusing you of being jealous or insecure or obsessed. There is no winning with them other than walking away from them. And when you try to change a subject with a narcissist, you try and avoid an argument, they take this as criticism because they feel like they're losing control. They need those reactions from you so that they can blame you. Anything you do say will be taken down as evidence by a narcissist and used against you to twist the story to their advantage. They lie about things you've done, they lie about things you haven't done, they accuse you of losing your memory, all gaslighting to keep you confused and to keep you trapped, to keep you working harder to find ways to please them, to avoid the conflict. A narcissist will set the environment. They will set the stage. They will create drama, conflict and chaos where you go all out to avoid it, but they will blame you for it. They don't like you changing the subject on them to avoid that conflict. However, as they are a self-entitled hypocrite, if you catch them on something they have done, nobody throws a bigger tantrum than a narcissist being shown facts and evidence of something they definitely did do. For them, it's okay for them to change the subject on you. The behaviours are pretty similar. However, the intentions behind the behaviour are very different. You're coming from a place of trying to communicate, understanding, honesty, loyalty, respect. They are coming from a place of self-entitlement, getting their own needs met, distracting you from the truth so they can carry on doing the very things they're doing to you, with a lack of empathy to care for how it affects you. They are doing the things they are doing to distract you from the truth, while you are doing the things you are doing to try and find the truth. With a narcissist, it's all done to exhaust you. It doesn't exhaust them, because to a narcissist, it's a game to them. They want to win. They want to be the puppet master. They want to play the game, so it doesn't exhaust them. They almost find it fun. They're looking for the next fix. They're looking for the next win. It drives them forward. Whereas because you don't want arguments, you don't want conflict, it exhausts you, which makes it easier for them to manipulate you. Their games leave you with self-doubt and they leave you feeling confused. When you bring things up with some narcissists, if it's irrelevant to them, they genuinely don't remember because it's irrelevant to them. With others, they do remember, and it's just calculated to them to watch you go crazy. Whether a narcissist knows you're right or not, they want to watch you going crazy, trying to prove it, so that they can escape any consequences for what they've actually done. Some narcissists might admit a wrongdoing in a moment if it meets a need of their own at that present time, if they can evade consequences for their actions by admitting fault, by offering that false apology. I'm sorry you, I'm sorry if. Again, it's all manipulation, it's all gaslighting, it's all to apologise in that moment to get their need met. Like the future faking, they might promise something in the future to distract you from the pain of your present, but it's only to get what they want in the present moment. As soon as they have got their own way, they will then suddenly blame you for making them apologise. Or a few days later, they might even deny admitting any wrongdoing, deny promising you anything, claiming it's all in your imagination. Whatever a narcissist is doing to you is to deflect away from them any form of responsibility for their wrongdoings and project them over to you so that you're the one left blaming and questioning yourself. Not all narcissists stop people going out. Some actually push people to go out in order so they can do what they want to do while you're occupied elsewhere. Not all narcissists outright argue. Some, it's those passive-aggressive silent treatments and sulks or outright neglect. So if you were to go out, they'll simply just not talk to you for a few days, or they'll not do anything for you. They will make you feel as guilty as possible to make you question doing anything in the future. With a narcissist, the best advice is to find a safe way out of the situation, limited communication and grey rock. You do have to be at a place where you are understanding of your own emotions. It's natural to want to defend ourselves, explain ourselves to other people, to justify ourselves to other people. Only with a narcissist, they use these very explanations and justifications against us. So we have to learn to Stop giving people information on us that are going to use that information against us. You can't get closure from somebody who keeps ripping your wounds wide open. It's not going to happen. You have to give yourself that closure by recognizing there's someone who's just going to continue to hurt you. The more you play into their games, the more they're going to sabotage and destroy you. The sooner we learn that our best defense mechanism would be to walk away from them, recognize who they are, observe their behavior, not absorb their behavior, stop taking their behavior personally and start working on ourselves, the easier life becomes. When we are in a state of hypervigilance, when we are exhausted, when we are emotionally reactive, it is a learning curve. It takes time and it takes practice. It is worth it. A narcissist wants your attention. A narcissist wants your reactions. By stepping away, most of them will begin to leave you alone. With others, you need to start contacting the authorities. The best advice when dealing with a narcissist is to go no contact and go and work on who you are as a person. Start doing all those things that you always wanted to do that the narcissist wouldn't allow you to do. I am currently full for one-to-one coaching. I have partnered with BetterHelp, so if you do need to speak to somebody, their sponsored link is in the description. I do have some online courses available which are also in the description. Again, these are just step-by-step guides to give you more understanding of what you might have been through. I shall also link into the description the 7 reasons why narcissists like to argue. Thank you very much for listening, and go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.